Hi everybody, thanks for tuning into my channel. This is Guru Ameen. I'd like to take this time to tell you a little bit about why I started bodybuilding and how I became a guru. I started bodybuilding at the age of 15. I was being bullied quite a bit, so I dove into the weights as a way to kind of be accepted by those that were bullying me. It wasn't more to get back or anything like that. I just kind of thought they were the cooler, more athletic kids, and I wanted to be more like them. So I started working out. Bodybuilding was immediately what I gravitated towards. It wasn't cross training for sports or anything like that. It was strictly for bodybuilding. It was always about trying to put on size, muscle, and lean mass at a young age as quick as possible. I did my first show, the AAU Mr. Metro, at 17 years old. I won the 17, there was two teenage divisions, 17 and under, 18 and over. I won the 17 and under, I won the teenage overall, I won the teenage most muscular, and I crossed into the adult division, and it was AAU, so there was a short and a tall. I won the short adult division, and I missed the entire show by 1 point to a person who was 20 years older than me, who won the tall class in the overall. That was my first show. After that, I trained my brother, who won his first show, which was the AAU Teenage DC, where he beat now known as King Kamali, IFBB Pro King Kamali, then Teenage Shari Kamali, for his first competition, and then that's where I started my coaching. Then the year after that, I ended up competing again in '92. I ended up competing and won the open class at the NPC DC Grand Prix, and was the youngest person to be nationally qualified at that time in the metropolitan area, being that it was a week after my 19th birthday. Shortly after that, I trained Don Long, IFBB Pro Don Long at that time. He was a light heavyweight getting ready for the Junior Nationals. This was 1992. We went from there and he placed fourth as a light heavy, all the way to 93 at the Nationals, where we put on 30 pounds of contest weight in the off season, and he competed at 224 as a heavyweight in the Nationals, placing fourth. Shortly after that, I was training King Kamali, who ended up winning the Collegiate Nationals, where at that competition I met Craig Titus, who at the time was second at the USA's to Dennis Newman. I ended up training Craig Titus in '94 for the '94 Nationals, where he came in second, and then worked with him throughout the next year in his off season prior to the Mr. USA's, where I did not coach him for his final 2 weeks, but I prepped him all the way up until his last 2 weeks. Craig had decided not to do my Hell Week, so I let him do his own final week's preparation. Incidentally, he came in second place at that show. Then after that, I went on to train many other pro bodybuilders that became pro, and actually some pro bodybuilders too at that time, and have developed a system I'm mostly known for, insulin and growth hormone, how to use them together, and also my final week's preparation for bodybuilding competition. It has been labeled by King Kamali as Hell Week, who also labeled me as the mad scientist, and that's for you, Shari. And as a result of that, there's been an evolution in what I call carb depletion. And so carb depletion initially is just depleting carbs and reloading carbs, and then I added an extra step to it, which was mineral manipulation. Seeing that the muscle is composed of mostly water, I noticed that most bodybuilders taking diuretics would lose water and lose intermuscular water before a bodybuilding competition and be flat a lot of times and look better the day after the show. So I tried to figure out what was the best way to actually peak for a competition and not just, hope that you look good, and a lot of times and more often than not look better the day after the competition. This is where I came up with the final week's preparation, in which involves not only carb depletion, but a very intense depleting workout along with sodium loading. And then when loading, we load with potassium, and depending on the situation, a number of other prerequisites that go along with it in peaking, but it cannot be determined ahead of time because all these things are based on the individual person during the time as they peak for the competition. Peaking for a competition is something that can be achieved. It can be achieved through the knowledge of science. It is not something that is a myth. It is something that a lot of other coaches label as a myth because they're not aware of how to do it. Those same coaches come to me when they want to peak for a competition. Needless to say, this is amongst other things that we will be discussing in the YouTube channel, and please subscribe so you can hear this and more. Thank you.